Shalom, everybody. This time we are live and the Lopez family, as we do every week on Sundays. This time it's a little bit late. We didn't want to cancel the class, but Baruch Hashem, a very interesting class. Parashat Beshalach, the people of Israel leaving Egypt. The very first pasuk says, "Vayhi beshalach paro et ha'am, velo nacham Elohim derech eretz Pelishtim." Hashem didn't guide the people of Israel through the land of Pelishtim. It's a shortcut. They could be in Eretz Israel within 3 to 7 days. How long it took them eventually? How long it took them? So you're saying 40 years. Why not to go through Eretz Pelishtim, the land of Pelishtim, which can take a few days? So it says in the very first pasuk of the parasha, chapter 13, verse 17, Ki amar Elohim, Hashem says, but the people who see Birotam milchama. What is milchama? What happened was, the Midrash reveals to us, 30 years earlier, a guy named Nun is the father of Yoshua bin Nun, not the other Yoshua that some people mistakenly think as either God or is a Messiah, false Mashiach. No, not this false Mashiach. Talking about Yoshua bin Nun, the prophet. His father from the tribe, he says, I got a prophecy. He did the calculation and he was mistaken for 30 years. He says, now we leave Egypt. Nobody wants to join, so many of the tribe of Ephraim left Egypt. They left Egypt. Miraculously, they were able to leave the land of Egypt. Why? Because they were able to overcome a very big black magic. We'll discuss it in a minute. On the way out, they got to the land of Pelishtim, which is bordered with Egypt, very close to the land of Israel, which is actually the land of Israel now. And the Bnei Ephraim, the people of Ephraim, believed that this belongs to them. The shepherds that were there started a fight with the Israelite. Get out of here, it's us. No, Hashem promised this to us. They called their friends. A war started within a day. And many people died. They're saying over around 300,000, the tribe of Ephraim died. The people that beat them, defeat them in the war were very cruel. They stacked their bodies and they made an announcement not to bury them, to show everyone, whoever mess up with the Pelishtim, that's what is going to end like this. Can you imagine stacking 300,000 people? The rest went back to Egypt. And they were there for a day or two, and a week, and 2 weeks, and a month. They stunk. Eventually, they lived them there for many years. For 30 years, their bones left there. Big stack all over. Whoever went by would ask about this, what happened there, and people could tell them about the story, what happened to whoever messed with the Pelishtim. Hashem didn't want the people of Israel to go through that land. They'll see what happened to their brothers. They'll despair. They'll take the morale down. They will want to go back to Egypt. So this is how the Jews ends up. It's not good. So Hashem said, I'm going to do, instead of going this shortcut, I'm going to override this area. I'm going to go a different area, different location. Fine. And I want to ask a question. Bnei Israel were in Egypt for 210 years. Servants. We didn't hear even about one that was able to flee, to run away, to leave Egypt. What happened? Who stopped them from getting out of Egypt? To open borders. Idols? Idols, right. So the Me'am Loeh says, so Reuven Lopez says, he brings an answer, he brings it from I think from Amloez, I guess you wrote it. Yeah? The Midrash says they have a very black magic, very interesting magic. The magic was very big idols. One of them, the head looks like a dog. Another one like a fox, and a lion, and a tiger, different type of animal. Some of them were made out of metal, or wooden, or stone. And they were able to do a black magic. They were ever, doesn't matter who, pass this border, either to go out or in, they'll make a noise. And soldiers that run around will attack. Pay attention. Some tried to leave Egypt, and they got killed. You know, and rumor spreads very quick about this black magic, and it's dangerous. If you try to leave, an arrow will kill you, or a stone, or they get you, and it's a horrible, horrible end. So people basically were afraid to leave Egypt. They saw and heard what happened to those who tried, and out of fear, they stayed in Egypt. Beside that, the elders told them, this is not time. When time comes, we'll let you know. Someone will have to come, and we'll tell them this is time to leave Egypt. And he will use the code words. Who uses these codes? Moshe Rabbeinu. The code was to say the words Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. The word Ehyeh 2 times. They knew when they hear these words, in other words 2 times, this is the code. And this is a true leader. So they have to wait till times come, until Hashem will take revenge from the Egyptians. At the very end, the plague of the firstborn, death of the firstborn. So we learn from here that one should do no calculation when it's time for Mashiach to come, or when it's time to leave Egypt, simply because if Hashem wants to tell us, when Mashiach comes, He will tell us. And if He wants to tell us what's the name of the Mashiach, He will tell us. If this is something we're waiting for so long, why to hide it? If it's so important, why Hashem didn't want to tell us? Why Hashem will cover it from us? Hashem does not need people to tell Him, oh, I know He's the Mashiach, and His name is so and so. And actually I have proof from the Tanakh. If this is the most important thing for Mashiach to come, why Hashem will hide it in the Psukim, and He needs you to tell Him or to tell us who is the Mashiach? It should be clear. We learn from here that some things Hashem will reveal, and some Hashem will cover. This is one of them. When Mashiach comes, and when is the end of the days. How you can bring Mashiach, how you can bring the Messiah? Simply by connecting to God. You connect to God only in 2 ways. Doing Torah mitzvot, and Gimilut Chasadim. Chesed, kindness with people. So how the Gentile can bring Messiah? To keep it the 7 universal laws. That's it. Any questions? I have a lot of questions about Mashiach. It's not our topic. I just wanted to give you a little bit taste of what is really going on. You do mistake. You miscalculating the time to leave even Egypt. You're going to end up dead. No less than that. When Hashem wants you out, He will let you know. When Hashem wants Mashiach, He will let you know. Question. Reuven.
Hashem came Himself to Egypt, and He said He was going to take care of the firstborn and the idols, and the
correct.
other God.
Correct.
And then the end of times, He said that it's going to be the same like in Egypt.
Right. The same way, כי אימץ אתכם ארץ מצרים. The Geulah, the redemption will be the same way we lived Egypt. Hashem Himself will send Eliyahu, and you hear shofarot, the shofar blowing, and Hashem will tell the Mashiach, you are the chosen one. In every generation, we have a potential Mashiach that He Himself doesn't know. But Hashem knows. And He will reveal Himself to him when the times come. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we hope that time comes, We're waiting for it for so many years. So, Baruch Hashem, the people of Israel are ready. You can't run away from Hashem. Egyptians saw in 9 plagues that you can't run from God. Nevertheless, they tried to trick God on the 10th one. What did they do? They noticed that, it was pretty late, but they noticed that in every plague, who got punished? The Egyptians. Who were out of the hook? Who were saved? The Jews. They figured that it's good to be close to a Jewish person. You're close to him, you be friend with him, you'll be protected. Fine. So what did they do? They asked the Jewish people, what's up with this taking the ship with you? You know, the Jewish people had to take a ship, drag it 3 days prior to the firstborn plague. They say, the sheep, this is the gods of the Egyptians. They bow to the sheep. They think the sheep brings them mazal, good fortune. Can you imagine going to any religion and break their idol before their face? They would kill you, but the people of Israel were loyal to Hashem. They took and dragged this sheep inside the house, tidying them to their bed, and they just could hear the sounds of the sheep from every house. Bah, bah, bah. What do you do with it? And then they see Jewish people coming out the entrance and smearing blood all over the doorpost, the top on the sides. What is this blood? Where is this going? They kill our God. They're, in one hand, they got very upset, and the other hand, they didn't know what to do. I'm going to kill them. What if they could attack me back? They were confused. They never thought that way. They were never afraid of the Jews. And here, they're debating with themselves. On one hand, they want to kill them, and the other hand, they're not able to do anything. And they asked the Jewish people, what is this blood? They said, oh, you know, a few days from here, as Moshe already warned you, God's going to kill all the firstborn. The firstborn start a war in Egypt. They demand from Paro, let the people go, release them. Says, no, I'm not letting them go. You're not? They start a war. Many died, thousands of them died from the firstborn and Pharaoh's soldiers because, they tried to save themselves. And then they figure, if this is a safe place to be in a Jewish house, because they're marking the entrance of the houses, so the angel of death will see and skip. We'll hide in a Jewish house. So many, thousands of Egyptians leave their sons or themselves hid in a Jewish house. See, because the angel of death is not going to pass here. It's not going to pass by. Hashem asked from the Jewish people to put this blood, and Hashem said, I'm going to pass by. When I see the blood, I know it's Jewish there, I'm going to skip. Hashem needs signs. Hashem doesn't know who's in the house. What is this for? The blood is not for Hashem. The blood is for the Jew himself to show trust in God. I'm not afraid of the Egyptian, I trust God. He commanded me to put the blood, I put the blood, nevertheless it's your God. I trust the God, the only God, the Almighty. And Hashem says, I'll see which put the blood, I protect. The angel of death cannot pass by the Jewish neighborhood. Who is the only one who passed by? Hashem himself. Why? To pick up all those Egyptians that hide in the Jewish houses. You think you can run away from Hashem? Hashem himself says, I'm going to do the job. But the Pharaoh and his soldiers didn't give up. Why didn't give up? The Jewish people were borrowing product, silver plates, and jewelry, and dresses, from the Egyptians. Why? The booty, the spoil they took after the Egyptian drowned was 100 times more than what they borrowed from their neighbor. So why to bother and bring a special commandments? Go to the Jewish people and tell them, a woman go to her friend and a man to his neighbor and ask from these Egyptians to borrow. And why to borrow? Ask for a gift. So they give it to you. That was a great trick. When you borrow something from someone, you have to give it back. The Egyptians, his heart and mind is still on that object. They have to give it back to me, actually. They didn't give them as a gift. I didn't give up. That was the idea, so they have passion to pursue after the Jews. When they hear the Jews is not coming back, hey, they took from me so much, and clothing, and silver, and gold, and jewelry, it's mine. The woman said to her husband, go with the soldier, bring our treasure back. And for the gift, it wouldn't be so much enthusiasm to go after the Jews. It's another trick. So they chase after the Jews and drown. Because Hashem have to pay them. Midah for midah keneged midah. Measure for measure. For drowning and killing the Jewish people in the Nile. Questions? Next. So they're going around, and Yosef, Moshe Rabbeinu, is asking the people to get ready. They're preparing themselves. And Moshe is busy. Where is Moshe? Moshe is looking for Yosef's coffin. Where is the coffin?
In the Nile.
Why in the Nile? All the pharaohs and the most important people that are in the pyramid, in safe house. Only Yosef is in the Nile. Why? Why they put it in the Nile? Because the magicians, the Khartoumim of Paro, told Paro, ever since this family came here, we got so much blessing. Especially this Yosef, he was the king here for 80 years. We got so much beracha in this land. The land of Egypt prosper through this time. If he leaves, we're going to lose the beracha. We have an idea. We're going to take his coffin, the wooden one, we put it in the metal one, and we'll make it sunk somewhere in the middle of the Nile, no one can find. And it'll remain and stay here forever. They did it. The problem was, a year later, 10 years, 20, 50 years later, many people died, people forgot. Imagine yourself 100 years. 210 years, nobody knew where Yosef is. People forgot. It's a new generation. And Yosef is calling in the street, Yosef, Yosef, where are you? And doesn't know where he's buried. All of a sudden, a woman that was still alive from that generation, her name is Serah bat Asher. She is the daughter of Asher that Yaakov blessed her many years ago, that she lived long life. She came to know where, I know where he is. She took him to the Nile, she pointed to some place in the middle of the Nile, she says, right there. Thank you for sharing. Moshe Rabbeinu took a piece of cloth, sometimes it's a piece of wood, and he carved a road on it. Ale shor, 4 words. Shor, ox, it's the symbol of Yosef. His father blessed him, mentioning the word shor. He threw it to the water and he says, Yosef, Yosef, if you come, I'll take you. If you don't come, release us from the oath, the promise we gave you, because we can't find you. He threw it to the Nile. Minutes later, bubbles, all over. And this heavy coffin flew, going all the way to Moshe. People lifted, they are ready to leave. It was one guy there that saw what Moshe did, and he said, oh, this is such a magic trick. Where is this note? He jumped to the water, he found the note, he took it, he hid it. For safekeeping, I'm going to do something with it. This guy's name was Micha. Very big trouble. If we go back, 80 years back, I'm sorry, not 8 years, I would say around 60-something years back, Moshe Rabbeinu going out around the age of 20, and he see that the Egyptians killing Jewish people, babies in front of families, and stuck their bodies, or the living babies, inside the wall, and covered with mud, because he didn't finish his job. Moshe was so upset, he was crying, and he asked Hashem, why are you doing this? Hashem says, because you don't know their past. The Ari HaKadosh tells us that all these babies that died, this horrible death, they were neshamot, soul, reincarnate from the time of the flood, the Mabul. And they come back, some of them for a year, 6 months, 1 month, few days, to get the punishment, and they get the place in the world to come, and Gan Eden. Hashem says, these guys, you don't know their past. They were troublemakers. But Hashem, so you know what? Fine. Oh, you give me permission, take. Thank you. Moshe went to one of the walls. He took one of the baby before he died. He was suffocating. He revived him. And this baby grew up next to Moshe ever since. His name was Micha. Micha means that was stuck in the building, he almost died. It's the name Micha. And this Micha grew up and took this note, and we'll meet Micha again when Moshe will be on the mountain for 40 days, 40 nights. And they made the golden calf by throwing this note with the word shor, ox, to the fire. And a golden calf came out of it. Who did the trouble? Who's the troublemaker? Micha. Hashem says, I know better. But you want your way? You got it your way. When you argue with God, when you don't follow Hashem's way, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose big time. And you think this is just a story? Wow, it's a nice story. Why do we know that? We, all of us, still suffer from this story till today. We still pay for the golden calf sin. Every generation gets a little bit. Let's move on. So, I have to skip really quick. We're going, how long we have this? We have to? 23 minutes. Chapter 13, verse 21 says that Hashem was walking before them. Hashem holech lifneim yomam ba'amud anan lanchotam haderech velayla ba'amud esh la'ir lahem lalechet yomam v'layla. Hashem didn't neglect the Jewish people. 2 clouds, 1 cloud and 1 pillar of fire. During the day, they follow the cloud. Can you imagine almost 4 million living? High temperature. I don't know why it says high temperature. Maybe we need a fan here. Okay, but pay attention to it. So, what happened? During the day, a pillar of, it was a cloud. And during the night, a pillar of fire. 4 million people, almost 4 million people, walking. Who can even talk with a group of 1,000 people? Or 10,000? But now nobody into that. Nobody needs to talk to them. Why? Because they see from above. This is the direction. Even little child can see. Let's follow the cloud. What about the night? Here is the pillar of light. They didn't have to travel during the night, but they have light if needed. So let's move on. Look what it says. The pasuk says that the cloud and the pillar of fire were working simultaneously, cooperating. When the cloud disappeared, immediately who appears? The pillar of fire. And morning comes, the clouds come back. Synchronization.
Air conditioning.
The Egyptian in chapter 14, verse 5, Vayugad lemelech Mitzrayim, he sent with them spies. They calculated 3 days, they didn't come back. Moshe told Paro, they're going to go for 3 days to sacrifice to God, right? Did he say they're coming back?